Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the In the Paint Show, episode 173. Here another week as we enter the holiday season with my two friends and my two colleagues and two great people, Chelsea Hopkins, Ani Umana. Back on it. We missed Ani last week, Chelsea. What's Ani been up to? He's all over the place. Think he was kind of busy with some off-court things.
Ani, let's talk about it, man. It was new to me too. So go ahead and share with our viewers.
What is it that you're trying to share, Ani?
I proposed my fiance.
Oh wow!
Last Sunday. Yeah.
I love love. I'm happy for you, Ani.
Yeah, we here.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
I'm excited. I'm like excited and nervous at the same time. So
yeah, cool. Yeah, for sure.
Just so how much money I spend.
Real quick. Oh yeah.
No, I'm playing.
Real quick, how did you come to, did you set something up like a surprise, or did you involve some family members? Did you have some ringers, or what did you do?
So this is what I did. So I planned out like a dinner with me and her family afterwards. So I have my boy James with Tex Rank, who does my ISO Ani interviews. I was like, hey, yo, what do you think is a good spot like to propose to her? He's like, come to Crescent Court, Hotel Crescent Court in Dallas. So I was like, all right, cool. I was lying, like, cause she in school. So I was like, hey, extend your flight till Monday. I was just lying. Like, I was just making a whole bunch of lies, guys. I don't know. I lied so much. So she extended to Monday. And so I took her to the hotel because I was like, hey, we got dinner with your family and my parents and your parents. Because I told her that. I didn't tell her, like everybody gonna be there. So I went to the hotel. I got what's it called? Valet parking. We walk in. I said, I just want to check out some venues. I just want to check out some spots. Maybe, we kind of been talking a little bit aggressively the past few months. So I was like, all right, cool. Then I was like, hold on, I forgot my license or something in my car. I was lying. Like, it was a bad lie. Like, at this point, I'm like, bro, you got to know what's coming on. Like, what's coming.
Yeah, she's kind of feeling like, what's going on here?
Yeah, so we walked back, and I was just, I don't know what I said, guys. Like, I botched the whole speech. I was just like, hey, got down on one knee and just proposed to her. So,
like,
yeah, awesome. Right there.
Did a cameraman come out? One of the
cameraman came out, everything. Like, I got a whole video. Like, I did a whole like voiceover video and put that out.
Awesome. That's good. That's great stuff. Congrats again. And yeah, we're gonna talk about some on-court stuff. So that's great news. And I guess this is good news for the NBA. It seems like this tournament cup or NBA Cup is good news, or is doing well. People so far like to receive. At the beginning, we're kind of confused of what it was. Kind of like Ani's fiance is probably a little confused, like, where are we going? What are we doing? But like it all ended up being good. So that's what seems like what's happening with this cup that's happening this week, and it's going to be in Las Vegas. We'll talk about the grassroots scene. Me and Ani were at Hoophall West, and some of the stuff we got coming up for December. It's going to go by real fast, and then we'll be into 224. I can't believe 224 is coming. It's been a quick year, and I know, Chelsea, you've been on the move as well. So, tell us a little bit about the cup, Chelsea.
Okay, so NBA in-season tournament is underway. Actually, it started today with 2 games. It was the Pelicans and the Kings that are actually still playing as we speak. I think the Pelicans have a little bit of a lead, and the Celtics and the Pacers was the first game. And surprisingly, the Pacers, man, that boy Tyrese Halliburton, triple-double, came out strong. He's been on a tear. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but he definitely has to be in the MVP conversation. He's not in the top 3, but he right there, 4 or 5. Just kind of with the way that he's been playing. And then we have the next couple of games that are going to be tomorrow. My boys are playing the Lakers. We got that, 1 seed home court advantage. So we're going to be playing in LA versus Phoenix, which is a very tough draw. I'm personally hoping that maybe Devin Booker sits, or Bradley. Sometimes you get one star playing for that team as a late. Probably going to be Kevin Durant. He's been the most consistent. So that'll be the first game. And then the Knicks and the Bucks are playing as well. So it's been good. I mean, I know everybody was a little confused about the in-season tournament, but I want to start by saying that they stole the idea and the concept from the WNBA, who has a Commissioner's Cup, and the New York Liberty won the Commissioner's Cup this year. But basically in-season tournament where, teams can get cash prizes. I think in the NBA it's $500,000. Yeah. If I believe everybody's going to get that. I think it's good. And I think about something that Dame Lillard kind of bought up with the Bucks. He said that he's really trying to win the tournament because he feels like some of the guys that aren't as solidified in the NBA that are kind of towards the end of the bench are going to have an opportunity to, maybe change their family's lifestyle. $500,000 bonus is a lot of money. And,
Wow.
it's not a lot of money to Dame and to Bron and to, KD and those guys. But, for the people that are at the end of the bench and those 13, 14, and 15 men, or maybe those guys that are on two-way contracts, it could be, a special moment. So we'll see how it goes. And, we're going to get into the semifinals and actual finals at the end of the week. That's going to be in Las Vegas on the 7th and the 9th. And that is going to be in conjunction with the EYBL Scholastic League that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the show.
Sure. Great. So a couple quick questions I have for you, Chelsea, and then Anna, you can jump in. Is we talk a lot about this 82 game season. It could be a little long in this modern NBA, big money. Does this add games for the teams that advance, or is it still 82 regular season games? Or is it adding a few games maybe for the teams that make it to the final on December 9th?
As far as I know, at least for the actual play-in games of the tournament, those were, just marked as special games. So I don't really know how it works for these last couple games at the semifinals and the finals. Maybe Ani can speak to that, but I know the games that they were playing in pool play leading up to this moment right now, which were in the final 8 teams, those were NBA games on the roster, but they were just marked in-season tournament games. And, an accumulation of points between how they kind of broke the team down in groups kind of gets you to this point if you're able to make it. And there was various pools, and I believe just the top 2 teams in each pools were the ones that had the chance to advance. Money, I don't know. Are these extra games for at least for the semifinals and the championship?
I think the semifinals and finals may be extra games. Okay. I'm not too sure.
Or 2 games, though.
Yeah, I think maybe a slight adjustment, but I think those last 2 games are.
Okay. And for the teams that didn't make it, it's like another mini All-Star break, and then there's going to be games starting on the 10th.
Yeah, right? It's definitely the teams that aren't in it this week aren't playing. Like if you look slated, there's no NBA games besides these quarterfinal games today and tomorrow, and then obviously the semifinals on the 7th and the championship on the 9th. So if you're not playing, you have a little week break, I guess.
Like a little mini All-Star break. So that's good. So put some spotlight on the teams that are playing good, and then we obviously want to see really good games, and it seems like it's been well received. But
I see the Mavs play the Jazz on Wednesday though.
Got it.
Okay.
So I still think there's going to be still some games going on.
Okay.
A couple games on the off day, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. No, actually, everybody's playing on Wednesday. You're right, Ani.
Right.
So that's the 6th, right? 7th is Thursday.
Yep.
And then they didn't want to give these NBA players too much of a break.
Yeah, well,
there's games in between. Yeah, just there's no league games on the 7th and the 9th because only those obviously teams are playing. But there's definitely games on the 8th and in the 6th. It's a full schedule, so I guess the show must go on if you're not whether you're in the tournament or not.
Interesting, because that kind of takes away the spotlight from those games. But that makes sense. They're just putting some spotlight on those teams. And I don't know, Chelsea, if you have some quick predictions, but it would be Lakers Suns winner versus Kings.
Yeah.
Pelicans winner. Looks like the Pelicans may be advancing, and then tomorrow will be the Celtics Knicks, and then tomorrow will be the Bucks Knicks, and then Pacers already advanced. So who do you think the Pacers are going to play, and then who do you think Pelicans are going to play?
Oof. I want to say Bucks and Knicks will probably be a close one, but I'd probably give the edge to the Bucks. I feel like Dame and Giannis are getting a little chemistry going. The last couple games they've been pretty good. I've just listened to the post game and stuff, and Dame is just trying to operate with Giannis. Giannis tries to run pick and roll and stuff that he shouldn't be doing when Dame's on the court. So they're just kind of trying to figure out that dynamic, but it seems like they're getting it. The last couple games they've been pretty good. My Lakers, I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like the Lakers are they come out so flat. They come out so lethargic. We play every game from behind most times.
Sure.
So I'm glad that we have the home court advantage. Maybe that can get us over the hump. And like I said, Beal, Booker, and KD haven't consistently played together. Like it's been KD playing every game. Sometimes you add Booker. I think Beal's only played like 2 or 3 games. So maybe we'll catch a break because they won't all be playing at the same time. But I'm going to predict that KD and Booker are going to play tomorrow, and it's going to go down to the wire. It's going to be a tough one. I'm a big fan of Indiana, though. Like, I feel like they're a little sleeper team. I feel like their pace is just crazy fast, and Halliburton is in complete control of the game. I think if you have a person like that, then obviously you're going to have a chance. And Kings and Pelicans, I'm hoping that the Pelicans win because the Kings are the Lakers' kryptonite. We cannot beat them boys. They play too fast. Our team is too old. So I need the Pelicans to win because I feel like we have a chance with them. But, you know, De'Aaron Fox, one of the most exciting players to watch in the league these days. And the Pelicans have a really good team. Like, they had a good team last year, you know. So now they can put it all together if people stay healthy, and they're going to be a force later on down the line as well. So final prediction, let me say Lakers, Pelicans, and Indy Bucks. And then after that, I have to give it to Ani for who's going to win the championship. But that's my prediction for the semis.
That makes sense.
I'm going to win it all. I'm going Phoenix. Phoenix gonna beat LA.
Gosh.
And then they're gonna beat I'm actually gonna go Pelicans. I think Valanciunas can actually match up well with Sabonis in the post. I think Pelicans have enough defensively where they can kind of not stop. You can't stop De'Aaron, but kind of maintain him a little bit. Kind of make it out to really work for his offense. I think defensively they can actually guard Sacramento pretty good. It's going to be a close one, though. I think it's going to be a closer one. It's going to be tight, but I think Pelicans break through. Only thing I can see Sacramento's, you know, had a really good season last year, really brought majority of their core pieces back. So when the game gets tighter, they'll understand how to, like, you know, finish games. I think if Sacramento wins, that would just be the case. I really like Indiana. They play super fast. They don't really play any defense, though.
Yeah.
So I do see, like, if a team can still have an offensive efficiency against them, but also defend, I just don't see Indiana win at all unless Indiana's just offense just goes stupid nuts, which it could. But I'm going to go Phoenix. I'm going to go Milwaukee, and I'm going to go Phoenix wins it all.
Wow. Interesting.
And I ain't gonna lie, my predictions in NBA has been horrible. So like, I'm probably gonna be wrong, but I'm going Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of predictions, but yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. And maybe before we get off the pod, maybe that score will come in from that, you know, Kings and Pelicans game, and we will mention it. But speaking of predictions, predicting this college football. People are all over the place with that, and obviously it changed a lot because Alabama knocked off season-long Georgia #1, Georgia Bulldogs, and SEC title game, and then that threw everything for a loop. Chelsea, I know you like college football, and maybe you don't follow team rosters and things like that, but you're interested in it because of the bigger picture. So, what was your reaction when ACC champ Florida State got left out, and what do you think it means? And you know, I know you have some vested interest in that.
Yeah. You know, I don't know too many of the players in college unless you're high profile and, you know, they talk about you all the time, but I definitely follow. You know, I followed Colorado really closely, who was awful. And then I followed this.
Chelsea, did you just admit that?
They were awful at the end. I felt so bad. They lost like 8 of their last 9 games. That was awful. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, they were 4-8.
As far as the college football playoffs, like, I was shocked that Florida State didn't make it. I mean, I really don't like. I felt bad for the kids because it's like you're a Power 5 conference. They went undefeated. They lost their quarterback. They still won. Like, you know, to get to this moment and to be ranked in the top 4, to not lose and then get kicked out of the top 4. Like, I just feel like you basically just put a committee together, and the committee could just get in a circle and say, yeah, we don't really think they're that good. So let's, you know, bring in the next team. And I feel for Georgia too, who was the best team all year. Like, I lose 1 game and I drop all the way from 1 to 5 versus a team that's, you know, in the top 7 already too. Like, I don't know. I think the committee got it wrong. I really do. And it's a tough decision to be in. It could only be 4 teams, obviously. But I feel like Florida State needed to take somebody's spot just off the strength and them being undefeated. And, you know, I don't really know. I guess I don't really know the criteria. Like, what is the criteria? Is it can't be, you say that these teams have to play certain games and have a strength of schedule and do this stuff, but then when a team like Florida State has the most Power 5 wins, they played the games, they did what they had to do, and then they didn't make it. So it's like, something's got to give. So yeah, it definitely is about money and ratings, and I think that's kind of just what makes the world go round, and that's why you see these SEC teams in, and Alabama getting in, and Georgia out, and that's kind of just how it works. So it's unfortunate, but money.
Yeah, no, that's wild. No, I think it's wild. Like Florida State, they're on an 18-game winning streak, and they don't at least have a chance to compete for a national title. Yeah. Like that's really crazy. And what hurts the most is like they probably got some seniors that really contributed, like, and they don't have the chance. Like this is it. Like, I mean, they include Alabama. It's all about ratings. I mean, at the end of the day, like this is about ratings. This is more politics than anything. Like,
so Alabama doesn't deserve to be in?
Hell no.
No. So I got two takes. Maybe you guys agree or not. Like in college football, way more than basketball. It's like if you take a loss at the wrong time, you're screwed. It's a lot different than taking a loss in September, right? Or August, late August or September. That's a big thing. And then secondly is the committees choosing. It's like you said, Chelsea. What's the criteria? They're choosing who they think are the 4 best teams, like not the 4 best with the best resume, and that's where it gets like who are the 4 hot teams? Yeah,
But then you make an argument that Georgia is still one of the 4 best teams.
Correct.
Right.
And then that goes back to taking the loss at the wrong time. So you definitely can't take a loss at the wrong time, especially lately. It's kind of mucked up, and I always thought this would happen. And again, it's going to change in the future because they're going to a bigger playoff. But I always said I like the bowls. I go because if you go to 4 playoff, then the 2 semifinals are nobody remembers the 2 semifinalists. But then the 5th team is always going to be like, man, we got screwed the 5th spot. And if you go to 8th, then the 9th spot. So there's got to be more. When they have more teams, got to be a more set criteria. So like if we're the ACC champs, Big Ten champs, whatever, the SEC champs, and we get an automatic bid, something like that. So right now it's ambiguous. They can just pick who they want, and then that goes to what you're saying about it being open. If there's a 12-team playoff or an 8 or whatever, 4 teams get a bye. It's got to be a little bit more set in criteria where it's just set in stone. And then regardless of their record, even if they have 1 loss or whatnot, like, hey, these 6 Power 4 conference gets in and 1 at large or whatever it may be. So right now it's ironic that it happens while we're expanding the playoff. And to me, the playoff,
that they're going to 12 teams next year.
And to me, it's like the 10 years of basically, let's just call it 10 years of the 4-team playoff really hasn't made. Oh my God, those are such awesome semifinals and great games.
Right.
I remember the bowl games. You know what I mean? Like you could have the bowl games and then pick your 2 best teams. I don't think it'd been a much different, but I get when they expand it. Like you said, it's all about money. It's all about prestige and ratings and TV. So that's happens. But yeah, at Florida State. Well, it's funny that you said, Chelsea, I'll make this one point, and Ani can jump in with his last point is you mentioned Colorado. Well, yeah, that's what an average fan, it created interest. You followed it. And everybody's like, oh my God, look at Colorado. They won that game against TCU. And that's what an average fan would think. The quarterback is balling. The receivers are balling. I'm over here thinking Colorado's not very good because they got no line play. Like that's where you say where the difference. Like you said, as Ani mentioned, there's probably some hardworking linemen that have been built up for this. That Florida State, they knew they were going to have a good season, and everybody's concentrating on the quarterback. Well, we know from following Colorado, the quarterback don't mean shit sometimes. It's the whole team. So when you lose the quarterback, it shouldn't knock you off your perch if you have a complete team. It's like you have 85 scholarship guys contributing. Who cares about the quarterback? And I think that goes back to your point about Colorado bombing. Like it's about the whole team. Colorado doesn't have the line play and the trends play to compete with these better teams, and it eventually showed. So I think that's where I think Florida State got screwed, to your point, Ani. Maybe you can follow up on that.
Yeah, no, I agree on that.
Yeah, it's just like it's not just about the star player. It's 80 guys trying to work together for like a common goal.
Right.
It's a lot different than when we talk about college basketball or high school.
Well,
Where there's a big
one,
injury.
two guys can really impact.
Yeah. 1-2 guys are going to just totally change everything. It's not really like that. You know what I mean? But again, if you don't play college football or high school football, you don't know that. Or it's not pointed out enough in the media. You know what I mean? We focus on like the Heisman candidates, the quarterbacks. That's natural, but it's really tough. But I don't. What would you think? What do you guys think is going to happen when Georgia and Florida State meet in that bowl game? Is it just going to be like the greatest non-playoff bowl game we've ever seen, or do you think the guys are gonna be like, "Screw this, we got screwed. We don't care." What do you guys think?
Because they getting paid. Them dudes get how much NIL money playing that? They need to play that game hard, man. You getting paid. I know they getting paid to play that game. Them boys need to play hard.
So you think it's gonna be a good game?
I think it'll be a quality game. I don't think it's gonna be like
no. I don't think it's gonna be a good game. I think Georgia's gonna whoop them. Just to
you think Georgia gonna whoop them? Nah.
I do. You don't think so? I think I know Florida State's defense is crazy, but I don't know. I think Florida State, they feel defeated now. Yeah. It's over. Georgia's
I think they're gonna play. I think they're gonna try to prove a point.
You think so?
I think that's the most interesting game now, be honest, in many respects, because like you said, what are they gonna do?
That's the real championship game.
Yeah. And in essence, yeah.
Okay, so what's your prediction for the other games though? What, Michigan, Alabama, and Texas, Washington, right?
Yeah.
So what's your prediction for those two games?
I want to see Washington do good just because the Pac-12 is just like in the
going.
Is that West Coast bias?
What is going on there? Ani, I was talking to Chelsea last week. We're gonna do a pod of like rip to the Pac-12 and talk about all Pac-12. You're probably gonna throw up on that episode. We're gonna have a guest or two. Like Pac-12 athlete, just like how did we blow this thing? Like it was like a golden goose, like a
100%. Nah, 100%.
They just ruined it. It's like what happened? So that back to your point, I'm getting off subject here. Like I want Washington to do well, just from that point of view. It would be a hell of a story. I don't know if they're gonna win, but it'd be a hell of a story. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm gonna go UT because I'm just
Oh, he's going anything.
You know where I'm going.
So then who should have been the team out for Florida State then, Chelsea? I guess that's the $1 million question. Is there any comment on that, or just the 4th seed should have been out? In Texas,
I want Washington in. I like their story. Maybe Texas. I don't know.
Oh man, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Washington, I feel like should be in there. Alabama, but Alabama just made a huge jump though. Weren't they at like 8?
Yeah.
I guess 8-4 is not that huge.
But. Yeah, but that's what they were said about the win. They got the win they needed. But yeah, it's not a perfect system, but I think it's gonna be interesting. And it's something we haven't really we've talked about controversies, but this has been the biggest controversy of the playoff era. But
did you guys see that clip of Michigan when they found out they were playing Alabama and they were all like, oh, like all the air was out of the room. They thought they were playing Florida State. They saw Alabama on that screen and they were like, oh,
ain't nobody trying to play
Michigan's getting whooped. I got Alabama.
I saw that. I think Alabama's the hot team. Yeah, Alabama has nothing to lose now. Nothing. Yeah. And they've been there. They got the tradition, but I always liked the Maize and Blue. A couple guys from LA played on their last championship team in 1997 that I followed, and it was awesome. It was I was so happy then at that time. I was a big Charles Woodson fan, but I like to see Michigan. If Michigan and Washington played, that would be pretty awesome. But I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, man.
It's not going to happen, probably. Yeah, one of those teams is probably not going to make it. So, Chelsea, what college football team do you like? What college football team do you like? You like Duke or you like
football team? Truly, I watch college. Yeah, I watch college football just because I like to just have a general idea of what's going on. Like I'm just a sports person. I don't seek out any college football game. But if I'm, chilling and a game pops up, I'll watch it. And that's kind of how I am with NFL too. The only games that I really tune in on the NFL is the Cowboys, and that's because my dad is a diehard Cowboys fan, and his week just goes better when they win. So I need to just watch the game and see how his week is going to go. But other than that, I have players that I follow. I'm a fan of Deion, so when his team had a little, hype going, I was following Colorado. But Other than that, I'm just a sports fan. You know, I can watch pretty much, and as long as it's not baseball, I can watch it. So
Wow.
that's it.
Ani, how about you?
Well, I ain't got no college football team. Now I like
He likes you.
I like, the only reason I really like Texas, because Vince Young, when they beat USC, that was the greatest moment of college football history for me. Then I kind of slowed down. Like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I watched too much basketball. I think I watched too much.
Yeah, same.
Like that's just all like on my TV. I got the whole EYBL Scholastic, like the full games League Ready had. Like I'm just dry, just have that on, like bro, like I had that on, like it's just crazy. So
you have basketball on,
yeah, but like I would say like Texas. Yeah. I mean, I'll watch, I'll listen to the news of college football, or like my mom, she watches so much college football. That's all she watches at it. Yes. This Nigerian woman, all she does is
watch. Who's her team?
All she watches college football. She ain't got a team. Like she just watches.
She's just watching. Hey, I feel
like up all day. I think Notre Dame. She actually really likes Notre Dame because she was watching it like in the 90s. Like
Notre Dame was popular when I was a kid.
Who's your team?
I can tell you how popular that was. It's still popular, but like that was super popular. Notre Dame signed a exclusive NBC deal just for Notre Dame home games, and people were like, "Wow, this is." They're on TV all the time, obviously, and they had a huge following. They have a huge following. So
is she whoever she roots for, I will root for. So if my mom say like she going for Washington, that's what I'm going
for. Going for her.
But I was big on college football, like Vince Young. A little bit after that, before that, then I don't know. I just
that fell off. Yeah. What about you? Who's your team, Ronnie?
I like USC growing up, but just following the players from high school around California, they were so much homegrown talent, and then they had some bad years, and they were always trying to relive their glory. The student body right, Marcus Allen, OJ Simpson, like it never came back.
Yeah,
that never came back. They tried to gather that. It came back a little bit with Keyshawn Johnson, but they didn't go undefeated. They never won a national title. Then they had some bad years, and I would follow guys from like I mentioned, Michigan had some California guys. So wherever California guys were at, I would like that team, whether it be Nebraska, Miami a little bit. And then Miami was really dominant. And then they had a second run in the late 90s, 1990s, and then 2001 was like their great team. So it's pretty funny. Ani mentioned that Texas game, and that was at the Rose Bowl in California. So Miami had a 34-game winning streak, and then that ended. And then USC brought in Pete Carroll, and they had open practices. Celebrities were there. He just did it right in terms of like the way he handled the media and the way people got behind it. And there was no team in LA. There was no NFL team in LA, not the Chargers. Right. So it just got huge. It was a de facto NFL team, and it was so popular. So many of my friends in college and then a little bit after that, we gathered our social gatherings around SC football games at the time for whatever reason, from about 2004 to maybe 2010.
Yeah.
Like if I said, hey, Chelsea and Anna, let's hang out, we would probably be watching an SC football game. It was that big at that time. So then that Zenith is like Ani said, I remember going up to Pasadena. I had a great time. And the Texas fans had a great time. And I just remember like win or lose, the Texas fans were going to have a great time because they came to spend money. And they were really Texas fans, where you can kind of tell that once SC lost that streak or once SC lost that game, they lost a lot of the bandwagon kind of left.
I believe that. Yeah.
You could see it that night, Ani. Like I could see it just going from, I'm on there, Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena. It's a great night. It's lit. It was a great night. And you could see the deflated fans. They weren't real fans because they were just bandwagon fans from either the Raiders or the Rams, and it was like, oh, SC, like, dude, you don't even know it. You can't spell SC, like kind of thing. But they had a huge following. So that was like the two big moments because again, people are always arguing like, is Miami better with their great teams? or is SC better, but it never got solved because they both ended their winning streaks at 34 games by the Vince Young knocking off
Makes sense.
SC. So it's 34 game winning streak for both. It was like not the longest streak in college football, but it was like big moments. So we haven't really recaptured that since. I mean, SC's had some good teams, but we haven't really recaptured that dynamic where everybody's talking about it, everybody's involved. And then obviously the Rams came back and Pete Carroll left. That changed. It all changed in the last 10 years. So yeah, that's just kind of my spiel. So we'll have a pod about the Pac-12 and its meaning in women's basketball, women's sports. That's a big thing. I mean, to blow that thing
and Pac-12 and women's basketball right now is going crazy. They have they have so many top ranked teams.
Yeah,
like USC, UCLA, and Colorado are all like in the top 12. Like Stanford too. Like 4 teams
and
in the
Stanford's
top
been
12.
good under Tara Vanderveer. Like they've been in the Final Fours with
right. So UCLA number 2. Like they have 4 teams in the top 12, and they're gonna blow the whole conference up.
Yeah, and that's what's tough, and we'll talk about that too when it comes. But if you're a family man, like if you're married, you have kids, or you're just the travel of being an assistant coach and going, okay, I'm gonna go on Southwest, hit UA and ASU, hit Utah and Colorado, or hit Washington and Pullman, Seattle. It was such an easy trip to get to all the schools.
Yeah,
that is just completely out the door.
Chaos.
Like it's chaos. They're going to be at the airport. I mean, we got to talk to an assistant coach, which we will. But I know they don't want to shit on it. But it's not easy no more. It's not going to be the same for them. Their lives are going to change.
Right.
Then you think about the sports that are not making money, which me and Chelsea spoke about a little bit last week. Like, what's going to happen to the sports that are not making money? Like, we got to go play a softball game at Rutgers.
No.
Ronnie's like, I'm going to sit that one out.
I'm going to take the L. Like, I ain't paying for that.
Like, that's crazy.
I'll take a look at our record. I'll be like, yo, we won. Nah, we taking that L.
That's really crazy. You're going cross, time zones now. I mean, the Pac-12 really had it good for a long time. So,
for sure.
Anyway, we don't want to dwell on that, but we'll get into
Pac-12 RIP show. I'm down for that.
Audie's laughing. He don't care about the Pac-12.
No, I really don't. But it's gonna be fun.
Great, yeah. So we'll hopefully we'll get a couple guests on and we'll talk to them about what it really means. So let's jump gears here. We close to our main topic. And Ani and Chelsea, the high school round. Let's talk about the high school round, Chelsea. What do you want to know? What did you see out there that me and Ani were out there, but
yeah, you and Ani were at Hoophall, so you guys have to talk to me about what you guys saw. I'm gonna make my grassroots debut this week at the EYBL Scholastic session 1 in Las Vegas. But you guys were at Hoophall, so talk to me about what you guys saw. Talk to me about the team and the player. Each of you, give me one. Let's start with you, Ronnie.
Okay. Let's go to our scouting report segment. I don't want to steal what I think Ani's going to stay.
No, go ahead, because I know what you probably going to say. I'm good. Go ahead.
I got a guy. I'll go with Caden House from Desert Mountain, 226 point guard.
That's a bad boy.
Chelsea, he just has a little bit of his brother Jalen House in terms of like tough and little nasty streak, but he scores better, kind of like his dad Eddie House, who played for all-time leading scorer at ASU and played with the Celtics, and I'm sure he won a title with the Celtics with Paul Pierce in that group. And he just has a never say die attitude, changes directions so well, gets downhill, is an exciting player. He's a player you want to watch. Again, that's Caden House, and he has a twin brother, Kalek House, Kalek, and he's good too. He's maybe a little bit behind him as a prospect, but they play for Desert Mountain in Scottsdale. They recorded a big win over Sierra Canyon on Saturday, and they also won on Thursday at Hoophall in overtime over Notre Dame Prep. So he did really well. He 35 points, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 5 steals in the Thursday win, and then he came back and played good on Saturday as well against Justin Pippen. So that's my guy, and that's my team. We'll see him at Tark, but I'll talk more about it. I'll let you go on.
Yeah, who you got, Ronnie?
Yeah, them House Brothers are a beast, bro. That was one of the most Ronnie said it best, like exciting, especially Caden, right? Like that was one of the most exciting duos I've seen in high school basketball. Like,
Really?
I don't think I saw a duo more exciting than them. Just the way they score it, the energy. You kind of look at Sierra Canyon, their size and everything. And Desert Mountain's not small, but it's just like, you know, you looking at two sophomores to lead you. I think Sierra Canyon didn't lose a game yet, or maybe lost one game at that time. Like, and they were really good. They're the most exciting duo in high school that I've seen personally.
Wow.
For me, Boogie Flan, Archbishop Stepanak, he really, to me, I was texting my guy from New York and I was like, yo, he's a burger boy. Like, it's no brainer. Like, saw some outlets have him like in the 30s or something like that. And I was like, yo, on their next update, he better be top 15. Like, you know, when you see a kid play really well, Ronnie understands this, and you're like, okay, can he do this again?
Yeah.
You know, when I see Boogie play, I don't think that. Like, I know this is him. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't a fool's gold moment. Obviously, he's going to Kentucky. I'm not saying he's under the radar or anything like that. But I do think that he is undervalued compared to where his ranking or what. I think that kid is a top 10 to 15 player in the country.
Wow.
Everything he does translates. I was talking about New York, and I was talking around. I said, I think he's like Emmanuel Quickly. Ronnie brought up Tyrese Maxey, like prototype. Now, does he have the careers? I think he has a chance too. Like, I think he's a very talented guard prospect. He really impressed me by the way he scores, the way he gets separation, the way he got to the rim and really made plays for others. Just everything looked like he looked like a Calipari guard, and he looked like a guard that you see play in the league, especially the ones that you come out of high school. So for me, Boogie Flan, and even during the summer, you saw him more, pass more in the EYBL because he had he had other guys around him, right? But on this team, you get to see more of the scoring prowess. You get to see more of just the creativity with the handle and the creating space and the scoring. You saw more of that, and that was the thing that I was like, oh yeah, man, this kid has a chance to be special. So that was the one that really kind of blew me away.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to see some of his highlights, and the kid could go. I like his wiggle. Like, kids that are just elusive and can get to whatever spot they need to get to. Like, those are my kind of players. So I'm sure he's going to thrive at Kentucky. He's going to, the premier one and done guard program. So he should be all right. But question for you guys too: who was the most underwhelming team that you guys saw over Hoophall this time? We always talk about the best players, but who did you guys see that you guys just weren't impressed with? It doesn't have to be a player, but just a team in general.
You want to go first, Ani?
Yeah, I'll go. AZ Compass. Maybe, and not even trying to. It's because what AZ's kind of been in the past couple years.
Sure.
And then seeing this iteration of this team. I mean, we talking about what last year, Ronnie? They were probably top 5, top 10 in your preseason rankings.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing this group, it's just a down year. I would like it. Just when you say AZ Compass, you're going to see them. There's like this, like, okay, you're going to see some like dudes. Like, I think like Jeremiah Fears and Victorious Miller are really good players, are high major guards. They're going to have a chance to make money playing basketball. It's just the team as a whole just didn't
have it.
It was something that just wasn't there. There's talent. There's some talent there, but I didn't think they just really clicked like that very well. I think they're learning how to play together. Obviously, you got a new coach. So, there's just that whole transition period. So it's like not to blame anybody. They're just going through a transition period.
Sure.
And they just haven't fully figured it out. The problem is you're in December. You know what? You're going to they're playing in Vegas this upcoming week, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it just doesn't get easier. So those guys everyone's just going to have to buy in, quicker and figure it out. So underwhelming. I'll probably say them, but it's not underwhelming. Just more like they're not where they need to be right now. That's just what it is.
Ronnie.
Okay. And for me, I'll go with Corona Centennial. They're a team that wasn't right on the Fab 50 bubble, and AZ Compass Prep was 15 last week, so it's a different. They again, AZ Compass Prep got to number 1 last year, as Ani mentioned. They were like top 5 and got to number 1 for a while. This year's AZ Compass team's not going to get to number 1, so
right.
Whereas like Centennial's trying to defend its section championship for the 3rd straight year, and they were young. And then they got Carter Bryant, who may be the most talented player in California, and he's adding to this team of young guys, and they're just a step below last year, Chelsea. So we haven't seen that because again, Jared McCain's at Duke, and they have a few other guys that went D1, and with adding Carter Bryant, it's just like you have these young guards, and you have this guy who's coming from a smaller school. And the coach is trying to get to understand, like, you guys have to play with a certain amount of intensity and at a certain level if you want to be at that level that we've been at. And they're not there right now. They took their 3rd loss. So they lost to Sunny Slope, which was at the event as well. They lost to Sunny Slope in late November. And then I saw the game at the NorCal Tip-Off Classic, which was November 25th. And they lost to De La Salle, which is a good team in Northern California. And then they came back here and lost to Stepanak. But I will say they played well to keep up with Stepanak, but like I was telling on, I was like, you see how well both these teams are shooting and playing?
Right.
I was like, Centennial's not going to be able to, probably the team that's not going to be able to keep it up. And so Boogie Flan, Chelsea, I don't know if you saw in any of the highlights, but like he went up for a layup and it looked like he tweaked his leg. And was like, oh my God, please tell me this dude's not seriously hurt, So I believe his mom was there sitting not too far from where we were, and I was like, okay, this is not going to be good. So like I asked the coach after him, he's like, he just hurt the top of his foot, but it looked bad. Because like he went up for a layup and he's like stopped in midair. He's like, oh, and we're like, oh no, this is, please, you don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Right.
So he stretched, he retaped his leg. The trainer did a pretty good job, and he got back in there and he still made an impact. And like his shooting didn't stop, his movement didn't.
Right.
So he kept it going, and they beat him. So, like you said, Centennial's take 3 losses. And they just don't have the identity, with the veterans and then the young guys. So that team needs to improve. If they're going to get to the level. Now, we already knew they were going to be a step below last year, but they're not satisfied with how well they're playing, So that's the point. Like, even though they have young guys, they're not satisfied. They're not going to be a top 15 team, but they're not satisfied with where they're at. And again, when you have a guy like Carter Bryant going to Arizona, you expect a lot. You know what I mean? And they have Eric Freeney going to UCLA. Like, you don't expect them to have some fall off, but they have some young pieces. And I know you like Slim, Ani. Why don't you talk a little bit about Slim Rogers, 226? Again, there's some positives there, but the team, they already have 3 losses, so they're not to where they were.
Slim got a chance to be really good. He's a 226 guard. Really, he had 31 points that game. Can really shoot the basketball, about 6'3", 6'2", 6'3-ish. Probably more like a 2-3 right now. Really, someone that's probably transitioned to be more of a 2-1 combo. Just liked his tenacity, on the defense end. Really competed, really made shots. As a fearless shot taker and maker. He attacked closeouts and got to the rim. I like that he kind of he mixed it up enough to keep the defenses honest. Most guys that they get hot from deep, even off hard closeouts, they still want to keep shooting it, right? But what I liked about him is that he attacked. Like he would a mix it up attack, get to the rim, finish. I really like him. High major, I definitely gonna be a high major guard in 226. I just liked how he can really shoot it, really move without the basketball, how much he competed, but also like that he can still get to the rim. Like he still knows when to get to the rim and keep the defenses like honest. Like he's not just a jump shooter. Like he'll get to the rim and make some plays. He just needs to tighten his handle some. He needs to play through physicality a little bit better. But I think there's a lot of upside with him, and I don't think that dude's done growing.
Yeah, he's very good.
Well, there's a lot of upcoming games, a lot of events that are coming on. It's going to be interesting to see how that shifts our Fab 50. Like there's a lot of, marquee games on the schedule, and maybe, some teams are going to surprise us or We'll see what's expected. Big games in Las Vegas this week coming up for the EYBL Scholastic. I will be there to check out #1 Montverde. I think Link Academy's there, AZ Compass. It's a pretty good lineup. It's going in conjunction with the NBA in-season tournament, and it's basically session 1 of EYBL Scholastic. So I'm excited to see, what happens at the first event. But where are you guys going to be headed? I know you guys are going to go to some other places in the next 30 days or so. So just talk a little bit, Ronnie, about where you'll be at, and then you too, Ani.
Gotcha. Before we jump into that, Chelsea, real quick, I want to get both of your takes. Dude, I can send you guys the box, but I think I might have Montverde Columbus. Now Columbus did take a lot. They talked about the preseason National Player of the Year tracker and how Cooper Flagg took that from Cameron Boozer, and is it just because the team's so dominant? The score was really lopsided. It was 25-6,
right
after one quarter, and it didn't get any better. And I was watching. I was kind of watching them because I wanted to keep you guys updated. If it got close, I was going to tell you go put it on, or hey, go watch the end of this game. And it never materialized. It was like a 30-point game the whole way. And Cooper didn't necessarily have the monster game, but it didn't matter. His team was just so much better. So my question is, I'll start with you, Ani. Is that just a little surprising? Is it take away some of the suspense? Because like you said, they're going to come into the Las Vegas EYBL Scholastic event, obviously #1, but is it a little surprising to you that they're just rolling, or is that what you expected?
Nah, bro. When I saw them in Dallas, bro, I was like, this is the best team I've done seen in probably since Kate Cunningham's group. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They played Duncanville. Duncanville was down 4 to them.
Yeah.
And I knew it was gonna be a 30-point beating. You know what I mean? At half. That team with Derek Queen, Noel, Coop, Liam, Curtis Gibbons, Rob Wright. I can go on. That is that group isn't fair. So and they weren't taking Duncanville serious. I'm serious. The first half, credit to Duncanville. Beckham Black was hooping, all these things, but they weren't playing well. Duncan, Montverde didn't lock in, and I'm when this team locks in, they're going to beat everybody by 30. So
wow.
I went back and I watched that Columbus game, and they were just locked into that game, and there's nothing Columbus can do. They made Cam Boozer look small. Wow. As far on the glass, because he's the only you got to think about it. You are big, and you got to compete for a rebound with Derek Queen and Asa Newell and Cooper Flagg. There's no way. It's already tough with one. Imagine going for a rebound with all 3 of those. And in the country, you just don't have anybody that can do that. If Montverde has a bad shooting day, it doesn't matter. They will kill you on the glass in the interior. And Rob Wright, he just picks your defense apart because he can read what you're playing, and he can just, go from there. And Liam, he's making shots. I mean, honestly, Montverde is the best team in the country by far. That game, it didn't take away from me anything of it. I'll say this about any player when it comes to playing Montverde. It doesn't take away what I think about Cameron Boozer.
Sure.
Right? You're going against that. So there's only so much you can do. But I'm not surprised by it. When Montverde is locked in and playing well, ain't nobody 25 points.
Okay.
Nobody's even 25 points close to them.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to kind of agree with Ani. We talked about on the last pod just how their team potentially has 5 McDonald's All-Americans. The team is stacked. They're going to play a lot of top-ranked teams, and it's still not even going to be close because they're just that dominant and that dynamic. Wow. And like Ani said, too, people don't even have to play well, but collectively their team's just better. And on most nights, they're going to be better at every single position. So, if they lose, I think it's more on them kind of thing, more than a testament to what the other team is doing, because there's never going to be a team that's from top to bottom more talented than them. Sure. So that's why I'm not surprised, because it's they have all the players. Makes sense.
Got it. We don't have to spend too much time on that. 89-61 final. God, you just think, the 2 best players in the country, and it's not even close. But, Cameron had 20 points, 8 rebounds. And then, like Ani said, it was more balanced scoring for Montverde. Cooper Flag had 23, 8, and 7 assists and 2 blocks, 3 steals. So he did have a hell of a line as, the National Player of the Year front runner. Liam McNeely, 20. Robert Wright had 18 for assists. So just a workman-like performance. And like you said, when they're locked in, they're going to be very difficult to beat. So to answer your question, Chelsea, I will be starting in Vegas, and I will get to watch them. And Link Academy did take a loss to number 8 Prolific Prep at the time. So that knocks them down a little bit. The game was very close. And then Prolific Prep went up 71-70. And then Zoom Diallo made a shot to make 73-70 at that point from 71-70. And then Baron Phillips goes to James Brown. Ani, they scored. Then with about 51 seconds left, T.O. Barrett got a steal from Tyran Stokes. And he missed a dunk and hangs on the rim for offensive goaltending. So Prolific's still up. And then Zoom Diallo makes 2 free throws for Prolific up 75-72. And then with 17 seconds left, AJ Dynasta misses 2 free throws with the new foul rules at 75-72 still. And then Link fouls Trey Johnson. So I guess Link took the initiative. If they're up 3, let's foul.
Right.
Give him the 2 free throws. They found him on purpose, so he makes both of them, which is a little bit of a gamble. I don't know how big of a gamble it is, but Trey makes both of them 75-74. Link is still down by 1, and then AJ Dynasta gets fouled and makes both. So that they kind of, and then League races down the court, and they go for a layup with 3 seconds left to cut it to 1. And then Prolific doesn't even have to inbound the ball, so they win 77-76. So it was a close game, but back and forth. So the Link takes a loss. So that puts, again, put that in perspective. How, are they going to stay close to Montverde? Are they going to sun the pressure going to be off? Are they going to play better because they're pissed because they lost? So it's something to consider. Anything can happen. That's probably Ani, the best team that has the best chance, I guess, to stay within 10 or 12.
You talking about Link?
Yeah. If you, unless you think
the front court
or somebody else.
The front court play is going to have to, that's, I saw Link in Dallas. That would be the one thing. The front court play is going to have to really match. Maybe not as far as for offensive output, but really defensively. They're going to, if they can manage the front court, then I think they have a real chance. I just think Montverde's front court is such a monster. Like they have so much size. Like that's what really, they just beat down teams. I mean, in Dallas, they didn't even start Cooper Flag. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's how deep they are. So I think Link does, but it's all going to be about, they have the size to match up with them from a physical standpoint. It just matters how well they defend those guys.
Wow. Okay. So that'll be the game to watch. I'll be there, Chelsea. I'm sure I'm going to see Compass and a few other games.
Yeah.
Then I'll go from there. I'll just stay in town and go to Tarkanian.
Nice.
So that will be, and we'll talk about that. And then Ani, you can chime in and talk about where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah. So I'll be in Memphis for the Iverson Classic. I'm gonna stay down south. Just watch some of those teams like Bartlett and them. Then I'm going to then I'll go to Tark for the prep division. That's always fun. Go see my boy Ronnie. Dino, Chad, see my guys, but watch some who support. And then I will go to City of Palms, about like the 20th through the 22nd or something like that. So yeah, like I got some traveling. I done took like November. I really didn't go out nowhere. But December, like we just got done to Hoophall in Arizona, Memphis, Vegas, Florida.
Got it.
Nice. Good schedule.
Chelsea, quick question for you. Do you feel like, obviously, it's a nice buzz because, NBA's in town. Do you think it's going to benefit the high school realm, or is it drown it a little bit? Or do you think it's just win-win and you know, it's great to showcase it. Maybe some people haven't seen Cooper Flag or these teams, you know, not all NBA fans follow that, but it's a good opportunity. Maybe it won't be in tons of fans or like a regular high school atmosphere, but it's still a hell of an opportunity. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the hope, to having it in conjunction with the NBA in-season tournament. You know, the NBA and Nike are partners. So, you know, they have a couple community things going on, some other stuff that's a little bit outside the games of both. And also, too, it could be opportunity for the EYBL Scholastic kids to peek in on some of those NBA games, too. So I think it's more about the kids in this sense. I know from what I've been told, the EYBL Scholastic games are going to be closed. They're not open to the public. They're going to be streamed so people can watch them. But I don't think that you can just pull up and just watch those games live unless you're media, obviously, or people with credentials. So this event and having it at the same time, it is just more about the kids. We're just trying to create an opportunity, you know, in this particular moment for them to be around NBA guys, to see kind of their process, watch, you know, catch a game. They're going to go to the semifinal game, an opportunity to just kind of like have everybody in one space. You know, obviously too, there's going to be one game, the Mount Verde versus Link Academy game will be at T-Mobile Arena, just like the men's game. So just a cool opportunity. I think it's a win-win situation in general, but it's supposed to be about the kids. It's supposed to kick off EYBL Scholastic League. And I think just having just a good environment and a lot of things going on is going to be good.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'll talk about this on. I mean, we follow this and we talk about a little bit about this once in a while, and we don't have to get in depth, but just the changing nature of games and how hard it is to run an event is you got these high level players on EYBL Scholastic and other prep teams, but they don't have alumni. They don't have, you know, a lot of student body. You know, what does that do to some of these events? And especially with the cost of doing business, travel is very expensive. Gas is expensive, you know, in general. And I'm not speaking just of EYBL Scholastic, just in general, where you have games that have hell good players. We know that, but then you don't, you know, you have just some scouts and a few curious onlookers. You don't have the traditional bands, the cheerleaders. You know, what do you make of that? Is it a big deal, or is that just a sign of the times? Is it horrible, good? You know, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a big deal depending on the event operator, what you're trying to do. You're trying to make some money. They ain't giving you some money at the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they just like, the only way they can is you got to match those preps with like a public charter that has fans. That's the only way you can really kind of salvage something. But when you have those two preps, it just, they not bringing much door fans unless they have a program. Like, here's the problem: you got to think, like, okay, y'all know I got my little homeschool basketball program, but I got like 40 kids in my organization, right? So like, if my team plays, like every parents from every team comes to watch.
I'm showing up. Yeah.
When you have a team of 10 guys, like, it's, I mean, how many fans can you really bring unless you just have like a, you know, like a coop or whatever? It's just really hard. It's just really hard. It depends from an event organizer. If you understand, like, I'm just doing this for like the evaluators, have some really good players on the court, blah, 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 then understand they're not going to bring much door right to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they may sell some college coaches packets, right? That's where it can kind of, you know, compensate. But definitely, like, you got to be careful how you match up. Like we saw AZ Compass versus Wasatch. Like, you know, they didn't really bring no fans, right?
No,
but that was a high level basketball. Like, that was
high level basketball,
a high level talent in there. So it's all about mixing it up. You know, sometimes you got to mix those prep with some of the local, like the high schools that they allow it. I know some governing bodies don't allow that, but if you can kind of mix that up, that's the best way. But when you have both of them playing at the same time, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Got you. I understand. Yeah, and I just think that's a mix. And like I even wrote about it. Go check it. We have 3 stories on ballslife.com about the event. But I mentioned that, like, if you're not always going to have a Bronny James or a Mikey Williams or that at an event. So it's been a while. COVID's changed a lot. I haven't seen that much door standing room only, shoulder to shoulder. People are watching these high school games. It's just not that like that right now for various reasons. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody, that's where we're at. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that, or Chelsea, you have any thoughts about that? Like, it's very hard. It's I think sometimes too, we see these players as 8th, 9th graders, 10th graders. We watch their videos, we watch their Instagram. There's no element of surprise. It's not, we're seeing them a lot. We're looking at this phone, and anybody's a fan said, man, I know who Kyron Boozer is. Do I really need to go to this game? Maybe I can't make it. We're maybe 20 years ago, but like, man, it's my only chance to see this dude. I need to see him. Everybody said he's going to the league. Ani, I don't know, Chelsea, you have any thoughts about that?
No, I mean, I just agree. Like, social media has changed the dynamic of so much stuff, and not really in a good way either. We talk about just how social media, people are always posting their highlights and stuff, and then you see the kid in real life and he's really not that good. But but the hoops mixtape, well, no, hoop mixtape, those are the bomb. But like, the people that are posting these highlights and these little snippets and making the kid look like something that he's not. And maybe it helps with recruiting and all that, but I always say, when it comes time to play, it doesn't matter about your highlights or where you came from. You gotta show me now. And I think a lot of these kids get kind of caught up in the social media game and realize that it's not all it's cracked up to be. So it's definitely changed with the times, for sure. And like you said, the star power in some of these kids is just, I think people are aware of them because of social media, but it's not the same. I don't know if we're gonna have another Bronny, Mikey Williams type of kid for a while. Like, I actually think those days are kind of done.
Wow. And you mentioned that. Why do you think they're kind of done? Just because of,
I mean, just
oversaturation? We've been there, done that, or what do you think?
Just the times in basketball in general. Like, we see in college and just the transfer portal and kids moving and stuff, like just basketball, the dynamic of basketball and the recruiting process and just how these kids are coming up, it's just different. And there's always a wave of something. When LeBron James was playing, it was word of mouth. Ronnie and them are streams and highlights, and basketball is just kind of in a weird place. And I don't really know if it's like, there's still talent and there's still great players, but I don't know if grand scheme of things, like, it's kind of going in the right direction, especially just with college and the landscape and how things are changing. I don't know. That'll be another discussion for another pod, but
sure,
I think about that quite a bit. Just how we see the dynamics of everything. And it's not even just the players. Like, we just talked about the Pac-12 conference being blown up.
Right.
Like, basketball, the landscape of basketball is just, it's different now. So
sure. Yeah, I do think it's a little oversaturated. It's nothing's new to the fan. They know about these kids real young. They can see their highlights. And then we haven't even talked about the future, which we touched on a little bit last week, Chelsea, about these lawsuits and things like that. And just sure enough, they're happening. Title IX lawsuits, big money involved. As we talked about the college football playoff, huge money involved. Everything's just changed.
Yep.
And we just rolling along here, trying to give you guys the best, perspective of all levels, but especially the grassroots high school level. And Ani, let's talk about real quick, and I'll mention some of my guys as we close. What are you looking forward to down when you jump from Tark to City of Palms? Just talk about some of the guys. Paul VI playing Millennium. IMG's playing Richmond Heights in Ohio. Obviously, Montverde will be there. You've seen them already at the Hoop Fest. You talked about them, and then you got McEachern, Don Bosco Prep with Dylan Harper, one of the best players in the country, who's going to be making his college announcement soon. Link will be there, and then Link will, at that time, when maybe they already beat Montverde, or maybe they need to try to get him back. And then got Columbus is trying to get on the right track again. North Mech with their great player Archbishop Ryan, and Long Island Lutheran. Any matchup or any team you're really looking forward to down there at Donnie Wilkie's event?
I mean, it's really not a team. It's just, Ace Bailey's at McEachern, right? Like, that's really seeing him. I didn't really get to see him much in the spring and summer. Got to see him at Elite 24. Just seeing him there and leading that group. Ace Bailey's like the most interesting one, because I think out of that 224 class, he's someone that has a lot of real high pro upside. And just seeing him against that comp, I think it's gonna be really good. I didn't get to check him out at the Atlanta Hoops Giving. I was trying to see if I could go to that, see if I could do both. But seeing him, McEachern, that's kind of big. And seeing where Link is at that time. Trey Johnson plays a lot of on ball, with the ball in his hands. Just seeing his development as a PG going into the new year. And just seeing that in that setting, like I want to see can someone knock off Montverde in that event. They're playing a decent amount of games. When they get to that semifinals and finals, who has the legs, to kind of push through. That's more where I'm interested to see, especially Ace Bailey. It's going to be my first time seeing Ace Bailey in the Scholastic season. So that's who I really want to, that's who I'm going to kind of dive in on more.
Great. Yeah, that makes sense. For me, I will, when I'm going to see a lot of the teams that, quite frankly, I have seen at Tark.
Right.
I've seen them, but again, it's some great matchups. There's 3 teams from Florida in the top bracket, and we'll see if the Vegas teams can hang a bit. I'm really interested to see. It's a great opening round game. It's Alta Utah versus Clovis West. Clovis West plays really fast. They press. Vance Wahlberg is a well-known coach. He's coached in college and in the NBA. He's been a consultant for NBA teams. He's a hell of a high school coach. And DJ Stickman, their junior guard, is really getting some attention. If I have to, somebody put a gun in my head, I think Bishop O'Connell's the early favorite. There at Tark in the regular main bracket of the high school division. St. Bernard's Branson is good in California matchup. And it's some good teams. It's a more open and wide open than it's been in the past. And we're going to see the House Twins. They get Campbell Hall, which is a good matchup. Campbell Hall has some good guards, and they're going to go up against the House brothers. So, that it's going to be some exciting games, and it's just wide open. There's not like a dominant or 2 dominant teams, Chelsea and Ani, that are like, oh my God, these guys have a bunch of future pros. They're going to meet in the final. And it's this huge game. It's more of a wide open turn. There's probably about 10 teams that feel like they really can win it. Yeah. And I think that's good. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's good.
No, I agree. I agree on that. Now I'm excited. I'm excited about Tark. This is actually my first year actually covering Tark.
Great.
So no, I think it's a really Bishop O'Connell. I really like them. I'm gonna try to see if I stay longer. Really, just kind of get to watch them. This year. But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of basketball. So the high school division will start on the 18th, which is Monday. So you'll watch 2 days of the prep. This is probably Saturday, Sunday, and then you can decide.
I'll probably stay. Then go to Florida like on the 20th or something like that.
Sure. Okay, well, I think we've kind of said what we wanted to say on this pod. I think it's time for us to close it out. So, Ani, any closing statement?
Go Horns. Hook 'em. We won a natty title, bro. Let's go.
Oh, man. How about you, Chelsea?
No, just an update on the in-season tournament. The Pelicans pulled it off 127-117 over the Sacramento Kings. So there you go. Ani, your prediction looking solid so far. You hanging.
Well, I'm going to mess up somewhere. My NBA predictions be horrible. My team predictions are horrible. Look, I can do great with players. My team predictions are awful, guys. So this is a win.
It's we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the Longhorns, boy. I like the Longhorns, but I like Longhorn football.
Alabama is winning. Let's be honest. Okay, it's over. They're
My
in
guy,
it.
Ricky Williams, San Diego boy. That was a bad dude down at UT, boy. He was a bad boy. Because that's why I like to rag on people. They're like, oh, Texas. I'm like, you guys all have Cali boys. It's all good. I used to follow college football so closely. Then as I got older and, I got in the workplace, I don't have time to watch it every Saturday. But, boy, I kind of miss it, actually. I wish I was like your mom, Ani. Just sit back and watch college football.
He living the retired life.
Man, that's great.
Ask me for money every month.
I would wake up, watch the Big Ten, and then the 12:30 game would be the Pac-12, and then I'd watch the national game at 5, and then watch one more, like Pac-12 night game, and then watch Hawaii like at midnight. It's like, dude, I was just in heaven. It's like,
you were in there.
What happened? Like, what happened to Pac-12? It's just so bad. It's so stupid. It's just bad. But anyway, we don't want to rant about the Pac-12. We're going to get out of here for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in for episode 173. Make sure you like, subscribe. Check out our other podcasts on the podcast network. Make sure you go to the website. Ani was putting his stuff up. We got a lot of stuff up, and we have stuff coming up. So, we appreciate it, and Chelsea appreciates it as well. So thank you guys. And tonight we're out of here, and enjoy the NBA in-season tournament.